Díoghaibh go léir accordia agus tófáil Gearóid. Welcome to Be My Guest with me, Mary Honan, on Lear Media TV, supporting the Samaritans, Limerick and Tipperary, Clare's Wish Foundation in Limerick, and Deel Animal Rescue in West Limerick. And today I have, and I've been told about this group Out the Gap for a long time now from Michael Dillon in San Francisco, and he said you have to have them on. So I have two of them on now today, two of the five in Out the Gap, and they're two founding members of it, Amy McNamara and Gearóid, her brother. Hello, both of you.
Hello, Mary, how are you?
Yeah, very, very good. Tell me which one of you, I don't care which one of you tells me, how did you come up with the idea of Out the Gap, and where did the name come from?
I suppose, well, there's five of us in the group, and we were all playing music together anyways. We're all good friends, and there was a festival on over in Birmingham. It must have been, what, 5 or 6 years ago now we went over for the first time, and we decided to go over as a group, and then we saw that there was a competition, and the prize for the competition was accommodation and covered the flight. So we said, sure, we might as well enter, and we had to put a name down on the sheet to enter. So we were humming and hawing, and someone threw out the Gap, and it just kind of stuck. So
great name.
Yeah, so it was Birmingham Trad Festival that we got up and running for first, and we've been playing away ever since. So
we were thinking of, if you go up on the train up to Dublin anytime, and every time they come to a stop, the guy talks in Irish, and then he says, mind the gap. And you're thinking, like, what relevance has that got to do with the previous speech that he's made? But it's just mind the gap. And for foreigners, they'd wonder, like, what's he talking about? Mind the gap. And someone said to me, I wonder, is that where they got the name? Mind the gap.
I actually noticed it on a train in New York there a couple of summers back, that all the signs mind the gap. We edited it out and we put it out instead.
Yeah. You should get somebody in Ewan Road Aaron to change it to Out the Gap in the speech. You want to play something for us there?
Yeah, sure, we'll play a few tunes to start off. We try a couple of reels. The first one is Tommy Cohn's. It'll be a well-known tune here in East Clare, and we'll follow it by with the Haymaker and Martin Wins. So give them a lash. Let's see. 3 times. E minor, C, G.
music. It's fabulous. You know, I don't think there's anyone in the world really, even if they weren't familiar with the music, who wouldn't feel the urge to tap along with, you know, or feel the sense of joy that's in the in Irish music for the most part. Do you know?
Yeah, well, I suppose we're fortunate enough to come from East Clare in Tulla, which is steeped in traditional music, and it has a very distinctive style, and we would have been immersed in that and grown up listening to that. And I suppose that style would kind of be a real swingy, joyful style of music. It'd be quite a steady, slower pace too in comparison to some styles. But yeah, I suppose that's what we were immersed to, listening to the Tulla Cayley Band and the likes of Peter Hayes and Martin Hayes, and then Mary and Andrew McNamara from Tulla. So that's kind of what we were immersed to growing up, and I suppose we've just kind of adapted that style ourselves. And yeah, then the tunes, I suppose the first tune we played is a local East Clare tune. A lot of minor tunes are associated with the area. So yeah, I suppose that's...
You grew up in a traditional musical family. Was it or in a musical family anyway? Was it inevitable that you were going to play traditional music as opposed to classical or more contemporary or modern?
Yeah, the traditional. I don't think we would have had a choice in that. Mum and Dad were always, they always have had a love for Irish music. It'd be on in the house 24/7. Dad would have 2 radios going in case he'd be missing something on a different channel, and he'd have TG Gearóid going as well, and all the doors open in case he'd be missing anything on a television anywhere else or a radio. But our grandparents, Kathleen and Jimmy Maloney, Jimmy was from Glandree and Kathleen was from Balleen and Kilmaley, and she would have been a set dancer and a set dancing teacher. So she would have passed that on then to my mum and our aunts and uncle, and it just came down to the family. Everyone in the family has an interest in Irish music, and then we started playing, and we have a sister, Kate, who's living in Nottingham now. She's nursing over there, and she plays as well. So yeah, we were kind of we started off on the tin whistle when we were 6
Isn't it good that, you know, I mean, when you have an instrument, I know Gearóid, it's more difficult for you to lug a piano around with you wherever you go, but you can always bring a keyboard with you and get much similar. But with you, you can bring your harp or your violin anywhere you go, your fiddle anywhere you go.
Yeah, handy.
Do you find it hard now finding places, Gearóid, that you can actually sit down and play? Or you play several instruments as well, though.
Yeah, like to be honest with you, I do cart the piano or the keyboard. I have a keyboard as well, so I do cart that around almost every session. So it is a bit of a hassle, but it's just that's what I play in the band mainly. So I do bring that around, but I do have a case with wheels, so it's not too bad. I do play the concertina as well on the tin whistle, and I'd often, you know, if we're going out, I'd often have like the whistle in like my pocket or something, or put it in someone's bag. So that's fierce handy too if there's like you know, a session you're not expecting to happen, but it's always nice to have the whistle there just in case something happens.
Yeah, and you're a regular on Avian and Pamela Queeley's duet, Beyond the Bellows.
Yeah, so Pamela's in Out the Gap as well, funnily enough, and yeah, I've been playing with them for years, and yeah, I love company and them. Yeah, they have lovely steady. They actually play quite similar music to us in East Clare here, so I gel quite well with them because we've a similar kind of outlook on music, I suppose.
Yeah, and you all come from Clare, so you have that kind of East Clare kind of, I suppose. I know, according to your website, anyway, you have that East Clare kind of vibe, if you like. What is the difference between Amy? What would be the difference? How would you identify any one of the two of you? Identify one tune or one style from another to a Luddite like me, who loves music. I come from an incredibly musical family, both sides, but never played an instrument. All I wanted was Irish dancing. I say it to everyone, it's my biggest regret that I didn't learn the harp.
Yeah.
Or the piano. It's the piano or the harp for me. I could never imagine myself playing I think I used to always think I'd have a pain in my neck playing the fiddle. Piano, you could your fingers might hurt after it, but your neck wouldn't.
Yeah, it's not as uncomfortable. I know. I suppose in East Clare, like as I said earlier, like we play quite steady, slow-paced music with a nice swing or bounce to it, and I suppose other styles might be faster or more ornamentation and more variations, and like our style is quite simple, but with a lot of rhythm emphasized. So it's kind of a good emphasis on rhythm and swing. Music. Yeah, good dance music as well, I suppose.
Yeah, dance and the traditional music is really synonymous with Clare.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Yeah, our style is very traditional.
Way and well, at Limerick as well, but not. I mean, I would think that when you think of traditional music, you think of Clare. My mother's cousins were All Ireland champion uilleann pipers. They were from Limerick, and they were taught by Leah Rowsome. And but it was my grandmother played the concertina and the uilleann pipes. Strangely enough, another instrument I wouldn't like to play.
Yeah, that one would require a lot of coordination, I'd say.
yeah. Yeah, for me, as I say, it was always piano but certainly harp. Why I never learned it, I don't know. But I mean, I envy the two of you. You can go where you like, and you're always in company. Because people will always gather around somebody that's playing either a guitar or a piano or a fiddle or an accordion.
Yeah, I suppose it's nice like to go to different festivals and just start up a session and bring people around. But it's also just as important to have listeners, they create the atmosphere and give you a reason to play. So I suppose it works both ways.
How difficult is it now with COVID and that? I mean, everything musically has, I mean, I interviewed Tommy Fleming and I interviewed McCanley and other musicians, and the bottom has come out of the music industry, but for temporarily they can't go, and Corja are only waiting for everything to start back so they can start doing a show.
Yeah.
Maybe we can all team up with Corja and put together some kind of a show that would be purely Irish and purely West. I keep saying to them to stick with the Wild Atlantic way, because everything starts and ends with Dublin. When you hear about Ireland, it's Dublin, Dublin, Dublin. Let's promote the Clares and the Galway and Limerick and all Sligo and all around the West.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, there's a great tradition of music and dancing and singing on the West Coast anyway, so there's no fear of there being
dying out.
Yeah, of it dying out, exactly. But yeah, I suppose for us everything's online now at the minute. Like some of us are doing music lessons and things, and it's all through Zoom, and we're doing videos without the gap at the a cappella app, just trying to keep some little bit ticking over, but there's no comparison. Like, we're looking forward to being back and just being able to sit around in a pub and play a session, or go to Willie Clancy Week or the Fecal Festival, all the regular places we go, and just enjoy playing a few tunes together without having to pre-record it or put on the headphones or that.
Worry about sound.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because I find a lot with music on the app, on Zoom, that everything is delayed.
Yeah.
What comes out, so and it's very difficult to avoid it.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know how this is going to come out now today either, but we'll try.
And so far, what was I going to say? So far, I mean, I interviewed another lady the other day, Banjo Ann. She goes by, and that the music came out really great in that as well. So. But what is it your favorite type of music, or is it the music you just fell into because of being from having a father that had two doors open listening to pieces of music?
Well, it's definitely for me my favorite type of music. Like, even growing up, like, my friends would be listening to pop music or anything, and I just never ever had an interest. Like, I'd always be listening to Irish music. I'd have Clare FM or Radio na Gaeltachta on the radio in the car before I'd have anything else on. And I suppose it definitely came from home and being immersed in it growing up, and that's probably what I was exposed to all day, every day. But We have a sister who is into different types of music more so than traditional. The rest of us are all traditional, but yeah, for me anyway, and I'd say same for girls.
How about you, Gearóid?
Yeah.
I know you Irish and geography in secondary schools. So I would imagine you're immersed in all things Irish as well. And you, Amy, are a primary school teacher.
Yeah.
So you have the whole lot tied up between you, primary and secondary.
Oh, I don't know.
I was actually studying TV production below. I'm living in Ring in the Gaels in County Waterford, but I'm studying TV production at the minute. And I suppose I'll actually get involved in some other, music programs that aren't, completely traditional music. But for me, I love traditional music, but I definitely love like folk music, and I love all types of music, to be honest with you. I love pop music as well in country. I actually don't listen to that much traditional music because we play it so much ourselves, so that I
wash your mouth out so you're
you need it. Sometimes it's nice to go to a different style of music sometimes,
yeah, because you can get tied down into one genre of music, and then actually forget that there's so many beautiful styles out there. My mum sang a lot of she was fluent Irish as well. She was a Gaeilgeoir. She stopped it after I and my dad came to Ireland. She just stopped speaking it, and you lose it. And for her it was Irish and classical music, but you forget, unless you actually embrace all different types of music, that you can actually amalgamate the two. Now, like Banjo Ann, she said that she teaches a lot of children music, but she gets them to do contemporary music that they like, and then she gets them to maybe have to change it by having an introduction of traditional music and an introduction of a conclusion of traditional music, and in between the contemporary and the modern, and how they can actually play that in a contemporary way. And that way, she said, she's getting them interested in traditional music as well. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's great to have the combination, and to open their, it's great to, like, for us, like Rose said, he listens to other type of music. It's definitely beneficial to listen to different music. It just gives you, like, even I like see the O'Flaherty's, Cueva and Seamus, and they're singing Shannon songs, but they're making it more modern with different, adding in contemporary, and it lifts it and gives it a bit more life sometimes. So it definitely combining different kinds of music definitely works in some.
I mean, there's no reason why you can't bring contemporary music and pop music and teach it in a traditional way.
Yeah.
Traditional instruments and that, because children, they just have one-track minds. I think they hear the music that they hear, and then they say, I don't want to go and learn traditional music. But if they can play the music they love in a traditional form,
yeah, exactly,
that you'd imagine would bring more children into traditional music.
Yeah, that's it, definitely. I suppose there is a lot, though, in fairness, recently and over the last few years, like, we've been lucky that there's a lot of people our own age learning music when we were younger, and there was a lot of opportunities. Like, we were in Katie bands and group of Gearóids with all our friends, and we were playing. There was Trad for Teens sessions, so there was sessions on a Sunday evening at 6 o'clock specifically for teenagers, and that was kept us wanting to play because we were meeting up with our friends. Whereas I suppose our sister Kate, who'd be a bit older, she didn't have that opportunity, even though she loved music and she kept it going, but there wasn't as many of her age group playing at the time, and there wasn't as many opportunities. So it's great now that all those opportunities are growing, and there's more and more outlets for young people to play. And
tell me about the group that you had called Knocknaguiha.
Yeah, so we're actually here in the Knocknaguiha Culture Centre at the minute. So we're.
I was looking at the lovely pictures behind, and I was thinking, is that their sitting room? Is that their family photographs?
A room. It's all the pictures on the walls are framed pictures of local musicians from East Clare. So it's lovely. And there is some compositions over here framed from the area. So Knocknaguiha is a cultural centre. It was a former convent, and it was renovated there in 2011 or 12. And so we've the Knocknaguiha Céilí band. So we were fortunate enough in 2019, the last year the Clare was held due to the pandemic, to win the senior band competition. So we have the harp down there in one of the rooms. So we're delighted to get the chance to hold on to it for a little bit extra.
Is there a harp teacher out there?
No, it's the trophy for the band competition. It's the Clare Dalgat. Yeah, so.
I have to tell you, when I was 6 years of age, I remember asking my mother, I can remember standing in the bedroom, my mother's bedroom, facing the window. It was that vivid in my memory. It's never gone from my memory. And I had said to her, I wanted a harp. And no, she said, if you're very good, I'll buy you a harp. And sure, I was so good I'd say I was good for a whole week. And I was an only child. And there was instruments could have been sent from England and Wales for me, but all I wanted was dancing. But I wanted this harp. And I had visions of being like Mary O'Hara, the harpist, strumming. And she said to me, I'm after buying you a harp. I'll never forget it. It was that size. Put onto your jacket for St. Patrick's Day. I can still remember it with a little bit of shamrock at the back of it. And I cried, I'd say, for about 2 weeks afterwards. And I've never forgotten the disappointment. When I think about it, the cheek of me, I thought she had loads of money. A harp. But this little thing, and I've never got over the disappointment of not having a full-sized.
You'll have to take it up now, so while you have the chance.
I'll have to take it up, but tell me about Cnapnaguiha, the group.
Yeah, so it's a Katie band, so it's 10 musicians, piano and drums, 3 fiddles, usually 3 or 4 fiddles, flutes, accordion player, concertina, and a banjo or a piper, whichever. And yeah, we were 3 years. I suppose the first year we entered, we were gone to China, to Shanghai for St. Patrick's Week, over to the Consulate General. We were invited over as a group from Cnapnaguiha. It wasn't the Katie band now, but it was a Gearóid Cnapnaguiha group of musicians and dancers and singers. And on the way back, the FLA was in Ennis that year for the last year, and we said on the way back, there was a group of us, and we said we should get together and put a Katie band together for the FLA for the last year. It's in Ennis, and see how we get on. So we did, and we got out of Clare that year, and we won Munster and got to play in Ennis. That was the goal, but we didn't get anywhere in the All-Ireland that year. And then we came back the second year, and we retained the Munster title and got third at the All-Ireland. And then the third year, we were lucky enough to win the Munster and win the All-Ireland that year. So we've the Clark shook down the hall there since. So even though the FLA was cancelled in one way, we're delighted we could hold on to it for a little bit extra.
Did you change the name from Cnapnaguiha to, was it just that you changed bands, that you set up a new band?
No, they would have been 2 completely separate groups. So Out the Gap is just kind of a social group that we organised. We're friends and we were playing together, and we'd do different sessions and festivals and that. And then the Cnapnaguiha Katie band was for competition. Like we played together for Kayleys and outside of competition too, but we were a Katie band that entered the FLA together. So that would have been practicing every week, a couple of times a week, and like a lot of commitment involved, whereas Out the Gap would be much more relaxed and just coming and going when we were around kind of a thing. So, but like Kevin Carey, the flute player now, he's in the Katie band as well, and Colm Slattery, the box player, was in it for the first couple of years, but then he was up in Dublin studying veterinary, so he couldn't commit after that. And Pamela would join us for sessions, and Katie.
What is it for you all? Because Pamela is studying nursing, or is she qualified now?
She's just qualified now this year, yeah.
Qualified, and you're a secondary teacher, and Gearóid is you're a primary teacher, and Gearóid's a secondary teacher, and you've also got a veterinary student amongst you in that. I would imagine that in one hand, it's very difficult to keep up the studies and to keep up the music as well. But in another hand, I would imagine that they help each other, that the music actually helps you to unwind and keeps you sane while you're studying.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's nice to have something to look forward to at the weekends, to get away from the books or the exams or that. So, but most of our sessions or festivals or anything will be during the summer. So we'd have a lot of the college work done, but it is very hard to get us together during the year, especially because like we're all over the place, like, you know, Dublin, Mayo, Galway, Clare, Tipperary, like, so it's just, but we get like Keelan McGrath there, he's from Tipperary, he'd fill in if Colin wasn't around, or, you know, we'd get, you know, there's lots of people around that would fill the gap when needed. But, so we try and keep it going as much as we can. But any opportunity we get now after this, anyway, we definitely won't be saying no to. We'll be dying for a few tunes. And
oh, I'm telling you, but now, if you were given the choice, nursing or teaching for both of you, or music, or both.
Well, definitely music, but I suppose the combination is good too. I don't like. I like to have music as a hobby and on the side something to enjoy. I know other people obviously enjoy it as a profession, but it is nice to have it on the side as a break from, you know, work. Or
how about you, Gearóid?
Yeah, I was actually on tour for a while with the group for some of the dancers in Corda, so I know those lads. So just before,
they're fabulous, aren't they?
Yeah, great. Just before the year before COVID, I was on tour with them, with a dance group called Dance Brados of Ireland. So that was great fun. But it's something that I do when I'm young and I have, like, you know, I'm fit and healthy. Like, it's something like to be on tour. You kind of need to be. I feel like you need to be young and you know, have that energy, because.
Did you dance with them?
No, I was playing music.
Yeah, but you can dance. You can play music when you're 90.
You can, I suppose, but it's just all the traveling that's involved with being like a professional musician. You're just on the go the whole time, traveling all day long. So it's something I like doing now, but I wouldn't do it in 20 years or 30 years.
Well, I was 14 years principal dancer in Bunratty, and I used to look at the fiddler, and I used to look at the uilleann piper and the accordion player, and I used to think, why can't I be a musician instead of having to do 8 or 9 dances per show? And you'd be looking and saying, they can play now until they're 80 or 90, and I've got to give up. I was 32 when I gave up, when I left, when my parents died. I'd still have been